First of all, welcome. I'm opening this pattern because I'm going to write a book. And the book will be about how to design democratic system, especially how to design democratic system using the new tools provided by the internet. So it is not going to be so much a book on how the internet will now change democracy. There are plenty of books and talks and video about this, and their predictions end up being not that precise anyway, and we are going to see why. But a specific how-to book on how to design those democratic systems using and integrating traditional democratic tools and new interactive tools we are constantly discovering, while maintaining the same level of fairness we expect from traditional democratic systems. I understand it's a very ambitious goal and I'm very enthusiastic to do this. There is a myth running around the internet that out there, waiting to be discovered, there is this perfect democratic system. But my claim, after having worked in the field of e-democracy for more than a decade, is that there is not one single perfect democratic system. There are, however, countless ways in which it is possible to make different democratic systems, and even more ways in which it is possible to improve existing democratic systems. Unfortunately, there is even more ways to ruin existing democratic system by making the wrong changes. So it is really important to understand how the effect of those changes is going to be. And there are many ways in which a system, a democratic system, can be ruined. It can be made unstable, or it can be made such that a small group of people can game it for their advantage. Or maybe on the opposite side, it can be made so stable that is unable to improve later on in time. So it is important to understand all those various tools and how those tools can improve existing democratic systems. So it is both a book for people who want to design a democratic system from scratch, or for those that want to improve an existing one. And different situations will require different solutions, depending on how many people are participating, what are the external limits, what are the different goals we are trying to achieve, and so on. And all those different methods will use different tools. They might use different voting systems, different ways for the participants to interact, maybe a wiki or the blockchain or statistical clustering that help you speak with people similar or different from you, depending what we are trying to achieve. So it is important that whoever designs all those systems, all those democratic systems, has a firm grasp of the tools available. Like the tools in a toolbox, you need to know the difference between a hammer and a screwdriver, and you need to know when to use which. So far, too many people have focused only on one or two tools when they were building their systems, and the systems that came out were not as good as they could have become. And then you also know that when all you know is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So giving a presentation of many different tools, it will also open the mind to people to think about what ways they can be improved and they can be inserted inside the existing system. By presenting side by side those tools with examples of how they can be applied and integrated, I hope to unleash creativity in the field of e-democracy at a new level. I hope to raise the bar over what kind of system we are going to see used around. So this book will be divided in different sections, and each section will have several chapters. The order in which the chapters will be written will vary, but generally we will have first a section with a brief history of democracy. Then we shall present the basic principles that are now part of what a democratic system is and should be. Those principles didn't just pop up all together. They were developed through the years, through the centuries in fact. Things like one man, one vote, or the check and balances, or universal suffrage, or the difference between a constitution and a set of laws. And then we are going on to the real core of the book, the tools section. Both in terms of traditional tools like voting theory, which by the way, those traditional tools are still being improved right now. There is research right now improving those things. Voting theory has seen incredible improvement and incredible new development in the theory in the last 15, 20, 30 years. And then both in terms of traditional tools and new tools that came out and were made possible through the internet and everybody having access to a computer, like Wiki and online petitions, and even Bitcoin and the blockchain. Then there will be a section on difficulties to overcome, limits to consider, requirements to respect. For example, some forms of discussions work best with groups of a certain size. Mass emailing for discussion does not really work if the group is too big, while a petition system for your local chess club might never be necessary. Both are tools useful for groups of a specific size. And finally, there is the last part of the book, the community part, which is the real reason why I'm writing this book on Patreon and not alone in my office. Because this does not want to be just a textbook with exercise and solution. There will be exercise and there will be solution, but I will not be the only one, I hope, to write the solution. I expect a community to form, and I expect the solution to be discussed inside this community with people presenting their solution, and then we are going to present those solutions. And while I will present my own solution at the beginning, the exercise that we are going to see will be things like, suppose you were to change the voting system for this country while respecting its constitution, how would you do it? Or suppose you were designing a participatory process for this group of people or for this party, how would you design it? I will prepare my solution and everybody else who is in the community will prepare theirs. And then we shall look at everybody's solution and comment on them. And then I will present what was my solution. By the way, how do you know that I did not write my solution after reading everybody else's solution? Using one of those tools we will present, and that I'm sure many of you already know, the blockchain. I will store a signature of my solution on the blockchain on a time before the discussion. So anybody can see that actually I had that solution before. And maybe it's not going to be the best solution. I hope, I expect not to be the best solution, because a community should be able to come up with a better solution than just a single person. This is the whole philosophy behind e-democracy, trying to get people interact together and to find solutions that even an expert would not find. So this process wants to produce a book, but also become a school that trains people to design democratic solutions to govern groups of different size. If you're interested in participating in this journey, please join us. One last word. You might want to know who am I and what title do I have to speak. I'm a mathematician, so you can look at my website, pietrosperoni.it, for a collection of my works. I work in the field of complex system, part of applied mathematics. Note that complex system does not just mean a complicated system, but it's a very specific type of system that appears in several fields. For these reasons, mathematicians like me are a bit of a jolly that can work and interact in several fields, and especially in the interaction between several fields. I have worked in artificial life, artificial chemistries. I received a PhD in bioinformatics for my work on applying mathematical formalism, algebra, to chemical systems. When I started being interested in understanding how the internet changed the way we interact, I applied myself to voting theory, e-participation and e-democracy. In this process, I produced some papers, all available from my website. By the way, when I could, I always recorded my presentation, which are also available from my page. So this should give you a fairly good idea of what I do and how I work. So if you decide to participate, please understand that any support is welcome, and with that said, I hope to see you inside. Thank you.